Hello, everybody, and welcome back. As part of this series, if you've been following me, we're exploring what we call the four horsemen identified through decades of the Gottman Institute's research and explaining why these behaviors, these concepts are important when we work with couples, right? If you're starting to feel like you're experiencing this and you identify with this, please share in the comments. Please feel free to DM us. We'd love to answer any questions. These four behaviors, I call them the real toxic behaviors. Let's talk about that's toxic. So there's four. We talked about criticism, talked about defensiveness, we talked about contempt, right? Talked about those two. Now let's talk about defensiveness. Defensiveness often sounds like self-protection. But in relationships, right? What it does, it has the opposite effect, right? Because generally defending yourself is a good thing. Someone attacks you physically, block it, right? But in a relationship, it does the opposite. It starts to disconnect. It starts to hurt instead of defending. When a partner brings up a concern, what we've called a complaint, right? Defensiveness often sounds like the following things. You ready with me? Okay. For example, they bring a complaint, so like, well, it's not my fault. Well, you're doing the same thing, even if it's true, but you're not addressing the behavior. What are you always blaming me? Instead of listening and understanding, what do we tend to do? Because it's important for us to listen and understand the concern in the conversations. We stop focus. What defensiveness does, it starts to focus it into avoiding responsibility. In a conversation, a conflict of two, even if one brings a complaint, we both have a responsibility. The problem is that defensiveness tells your partners the following things. My goal is to protect myself, not to understand you. My goal is more about me than you. That's what defensiveness unintentionally can communicate. So when both partners become defensive, oh man, that just starts tumbling down the communication, right? No one feels heard. No one feels understood, right? And the original issue, the problem itself, is not resolved. So what's the antidote? How do we deal with that when there's defensiveness in the relationship? The Gottman Method encourages couples to practice taking responsibility. And I take a deep sigh there because I know that can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. And what it means is not taking the entire fault or weight of it, but to address even the small part that you contributed to the problem. For example, instead of saying, that's completely your fault, try saying this instead. I wrote it down right here. It says, I see how my actions contributed to that situation. Notice what happens. The conversation immediately turns less confrontational. I would say even more intentional instead of less and it reduces confrontation. Taking responsibility does not mean accepting all the blame or all the load. It does not mean that. It simply means being willing to acknowledge my part, the fellow partner to acknowledge theirs. Healthy relationships are not build winning arguments. It's not about who's winning. If one wins, we both lose. But it's about building a way to understand each other. In our next episode, okay, we're going to explore the final horseman, stonewalling. And that's going to be an important one. But while you're waiting for that episode, I want to encourage you, what are some loving ways where you can just accept responsibility for your small part? Even if it is something like, you know what? I wasn't aware of that, but now that you tell me, I can see how that contributes to that. That's one I have to use a lot because most of the time I would say, I didn't mean it. Cool, you didn't mean it, but it still caused a hurt. It still caused a disconnection, right? Or it caused a complaint. You can just say, I didn't realize it, but now I can see it. How do we fix this together? When we're less defensive, we invite connection and solution. I'm Alex Brito. This is The Art of Loving, and I will plan to see you next time.